Hi everyone, I'm the Plant Propagator and welcome to my channel. It is a warm afternoon here in Southwest Florida. I thought I could sneak a video in before it started heating up, but that didn't work. It took me so long to set up. The rain stopped, the sun came out, so it is a steam bath here, but these guys are just loving it, so I guess I'm okay. What I wanted to do today is share with you something a little bit different, a little bit new, at least for me, and that is relating to the use of mycorrhizal fungi on my seedlings and plants. So, you know, in nature, in the wild, what happens is orchid seeds land in the right place and associate with mycorrhizal fungi, and that association allows the seeds, or the embryos within the seeds, to germinate. So whether you know it or not, in the wild, orchids are always associated with fungi, and these fungi are beneficial for growth. And what happens in the laboratory, at least in my laboratory and most laboratories that do orchid flasking, is that those fungi are eliminated. You don't really need them anymore, and you get really high germination in vitro in flasks without the need for fungi. But what I'm finding out is that, and what's been known for many, many years, is that the fungi are beneficial. Now, in the collection, in my orchids behind me that are outside, I'm sure, I haven't tested them, but I'm sure that there are lots of different organisms associated with them. There's beneficial fungi, and then there's pathogenic fungi and bacteria and a bunch of different things. And what happens in the collection is they're a balance. And what people normally do when they see a pathogenic fungus, or the results of a pathogenic fungus, is they spray with fungicide. And there's all different fungicides out there depending, and that will be effective. The different fungicides will be effective on certain fungal pathogens. What I started doing a few months ago is treating my seedlings with an inoculum of beneficial mycorrhizal fungi. And this is not something, and I've looked around, there's not something that's available that's specifically designed for orchids, but this is this is called Myco Bliss. You can get this from Amazon. There's other products that are very similar to this, but I like using this because there are, I'm looking at this, there are 5 different fungi that are in this mix, and they're included at pretty high levels. And there's also a carrier in there, and what happens is that what you're supposed to do with this stuff, this actually was developed for terrestrial plants, and what you're supposed to do is mix it with the soil and then plant the plants in there. What I've done, I think fairly successfully, in the laboratory is I've included this. I add this to a spray bottle. This is a laboratory wash bottle. I add water to it, and then I spray my orchid seedlings with this, 2 to 3 weeks after deflasking. And the idea behind this is like, oh my gosh, I'm inoculating fungi on my clean orchids, but these are beneficial fungi. All right, why do you do this? Well, there's always an association there, but what these organisms do is they're mycorrhizae, so they're fungi that are associated with the roots, and what they do is they enhance the ability of the orchid to collect water and nutrients. They may also have other beneficial roles in competing with the pathogenic fungi, and then finally, and this is a new area, there is plant sciences, or plant and fungal sciences. What happens is that it may turn on the defense responses of the orchids and the orchid seedlings. So it's kind of like a vaccine for your seedlings of this beneficial fungi, and that gives, I think, really good growth and maybe enhanced resistance to the pathogens that are out there. Normally these are juicy seedlings for pathogenic fungi, and normally when you bring them out, you lose a lot of them to a number of different things, but most often it's these pathogenic fungi that just love chewing up on these really delicate plants. I've been doing this for the past few months, and these guys are, these are the best crop of seedlings that I've ever had. So I have some, and I want to take a look, and I want to show you what these look like, and then I want to show you, and I'm going to, I inoculated these, but then I'm going to re-inoculate these same plants. I inoculated them probably around 3 or 4 months ago, and then I'm going to re-inoculate them, and then I'm also going to inoculate some older seedlings that I have, that I put out, that I'm just going to see what they do. And then finally what I'm going to do is inoculate my mature plants. I've got some problem areas in my pergola where I have, I've got a lot of fungal problems in there. I've got black rot and maybe rhizoctonia, some other types of soft rots that are affecting my plants. So I am going to hose these guys down with my beneficial fungus just to see what happens. The ones that are behind me and over here on the fence, they aren't as affected. I think I get better airflow or for whatever reason, but the ones that are stacked in my pergola, they may need some help. And I should also say that I've sprayed these with different fungicides, and they do okay. But there's still some problems with them, and this is a little different. This is, this isn't the type of fungicide that you spray and it may wash off, or you spray and it stays for a little while. These are associated fungi, and they may stay with these plants a lot longer, which again I think is beneficial. But I want to show you these plants because the results I think are striking. So I want to take a look at this first group, and I'll show you a close-up of this. But this is a group that I deflasked, I'm looking about 4.5 months ago. And what you can see on these plants is that there's incredible growth. They look really good. There's additional pseudobulbs that are growing out. There's 1 or 2 new pseudobulbs that are growing out, and they are incredibly vigorous. The parents on these were pretty big, so okay, you expect that. I've got another group right next to it that looks like, from me reading the notes here, was deflasked, I don't know, like a couple of days earlier. And so this other group, it's its smaller parents, but it's the same type of thing. I'm getting really an incredible amount of additional pseudobulb growth on these seedlings. These again were deflasked less than, I'm like 4.5 months ago, not even 5 months ago. And I think these results are striking. It is hot here. They're getting watered a lot because of the rain, but still the results here are striking. I should also say, with the rain, just so you know, again, you're inoculating those plants after these organisms colonize the roots, which is the idea behind this. They're colonized, and it may wash off, they may dissipate. The types of organisms, the types of mycorrhizal organisms that are associated with orchids change depending on location, on the time of the year, on the age of the orchid. So this is a real kind of a transient system. But again, what I want to do is show you how I inoculate those plants. I wanted to first explain why I think this works. I want to show you some of the early results that I have, but then I want to show you how I inoculate those seedlings. So this compound again is called Myco-Bliss, and this is available from Amazon. There's instructions that they give for you this, and they tell you to put this in with the soil, and this is again designed for terrestrial plants. What I do with this is I actually weigh out 10 grams of this, and I put it in a 500 ml bottle. 10 grams of this is about 2 to 3 teaspoons, so a little less than a tablespoon in one bottle here. And I add it dry. I'll fill it up to the 500 ml line on this, and then I'll show you how I inoculate it on the plant. And there really is nothing to it. But right now, again, this is a powder. You got to be a little careful with this stuff because it is a powder. Most of what's in here is a carrier, and the carrier I think is some kind of clay, inert carrier clay, 98%. So that's really the main, and this is dust-like. So just be careful when you're working with this. You know, don't do this in the wind, because it'll all blow away. But you can, you know, a little less than, I'm actually using 2 to 3 teaspoons because it fits down in this container. So I've already added 2.5 teaspoons to this container. Right now, there's nothing in there. I'm gonna get water, put some water in here, and then I'll be right back and show you how I inoculate these plants. And then I'm gonna move and inoculate some older seedlings, and then I'm gonna move a third time and inoculate my more mature seedlings, just to see. And this is the first time I've ever done this on mature seedlings, so it's going to be an experiment for all of us. All right, so let me go get some water, and I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. So what I did on this is I just added water up to the line on there's a line on the top of this thing, and that's 500 mils. You can't use, because this stuff is it's kind of chunky, and again it's got clay in there, so you can't use a sprayer. You'll clog your sprayer. So what you got to use is this, which is it's a wash bottle from the laboratory, and I have it marked Orchid water, but now it's Orchid water and the mycorrhizae. The thing about this is that when I added the water to this, this is clay, it's a solution, and it really chunks in the bottom. It stays kind of together in the bottom, so you have to shake it up really well. But what you do on this, it's really simple, and this is like, you know, it's almost like spraying milk on these guys. So this is you just do this, you don't worry about spraying it on the leaves of these orchids. It's just fine to do that, and you just kind of give them a good douse. Usually you give them enough so that it almost kind of comes out of the bottom of these, but it doesn't need to. You just need to inoculate the root system. So on this flat, I used about half of this container. And what I did is, and there's white residue on the leaves, which is a combination of the clay and the other spores. Let's see what they are. It just says propagules. Hey, I'm the propagator, and these are propagules. So I don't know whether there's mycelium from these bacteria, you know, the fibrous strands from the fungi. I don't know if it's the mycelium from the fungi or whether it's the spores, but they say there's 200 propagules of each of 5 of these per gram. So we've inoculated quite a few all over these plants. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is kind of reposition myself, and I'm going to show you how I inoculate some other seedlings that I have in part of my orchid nursery. All right, so let me get behind the camera and show you inoculation of these seedlings from different seedlings from a little bit of a different angle. Okay, and we are back. So these are some of the other seedlings, and you can see how nice some of these guys look. I don't know really if they need to be inoculated, but I'm just going to do this. These seedlings really look very, very good. But I'm just going to do the same thing with them, and you can see what everything looks like. So I start out and just kind of inoculate them. Just really, and I'm just not being that careful to not get any on the leaves. But that's essentially it. To go through and just inoculate these plants, and they're well inoculated on really all the leaves and all different parts of this plant. Now, what's going to happen here in Southwest Florida, we get rain pretty much every day. So I imagine that this is, you know, it might dry on there a little bit, it'll get washed off, but they'll still, because of the clay, there's still a little bit of residue there. So what I'm going to do is finish up. And there's another tray in the back that you can't see very well. So I am going to hit that get some more, because I'm pretty much out of this initial inoculum. I am going to hit that back tray, and then I'm going to show you for the first time how I treat my mature plants that are growing in my pergola. All right, so one more switch and I'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. So this is the top of my pergola here. So I should mention my pergola has a luminette shade cloth that I really like. It is, I think it protects, it's about at the 50% level, and I'm on a ladder. I'm not this tall. So I'm going to, but here I'm going to, and I wanted to get up here because I need to inoculate from the top and really see what was going on. And certain plants, I think, need a little bit more attention. So, you know, this is not really anything, I don't think, that's that special. So I'm just going to inoculate. This is my, and I don't even wait. A lot of times with my orchids, when I'm watering, I will wait for the, you know, I'm not water. When I'm fertilizing, I'll wait for the fertilizer to come out. But here, you're just inoculating. So you just go on here, maybe the plants that look like, I'm watching the plants that look like they may be browning a little bit. I'll maybe try to spray a little bit of that on the leaves on some of the other plants. But for the most part, I'm just inoculating. I'm just getting them a little bit. So again, it's really nice having this ladder so I can see what's going on up here. I don't know if I'm outside. Yeah, I guess I am outside of the view a little bit, but you can get in here and really inoculate, see what the plants look like, inoculate the plants. There's some that I couldn't, you know, I can't really see what's going on when I spray them at the ground level. But here, when I'm up, because I'm up here so high, I can really see everything that's going on. One right there. And the squirt bottle lets you get pretty precise when you're doing this. But that's pretty much all there is to it. And I've got some plants again that I think are in more need of inoculum than others. I should also mention with this, with this spray bottle, is that the way that this works, I'm tilting it back, but the uptake on it is right here. So in order to empty this, in order to get the best coverage, you have to have the bottle kind of aiming down a little bit. But it's kind of hard to do this because I am trying to, for some of these plants, I am aiming up. You know, I might be able to do this. I have to move the ladder now to get the plants that are over there, but I might be able to do the whole pergola with one of these containers. Again, all you're trying to do is inoculate. After it rains or after my irrigation comes on, I don't have my irrigation turned on because it's been raining so much, but after it rains, it'll wash the inoculum down to the bottom of the pot, and I think it's all good. The only thing with this is that this isn't like fertilizer where you can do, or too much of it will actually harm the plant and burn the plant. This is inoculum, so what you do, it's like too much of it is just gonna, you know, run right through. And I use, I think, a low inoculum level, but all you're trying to do is get inocula growing on the roots, enhancing water and nutrient uptake, fighting off the pathogens, potential pathogens that are there, and more importantly, inducing defense response of some of these plants where they're not pathogenic, but the plant isn't quite sure about that, so it turns on its defense mechanisms anyway, and that's what you're trying to do here. I'm going to have to get back with you with an update on this. I can't see how this is not going to work. It's been working so well for the seedlings that are more sensitive to this. I'm sure it's going to work, but you know, I'm not really sure that you should run out and do this. Let me try it on this. I'll get back with you in a few weeks to a month and let you know how it all came out. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did and you want to keep on seeing them, it would help me out. If you could click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. All right, that's all I have for today. Again, I hope you enjoyed it, and happy propagating.